Good evening. The time is now 8:08 p.m. My name is Hassan Robinson, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Streams of Consciousness. I'd like to thank the many viewers and the many listeners who regularly follow us here on Dominica's broadcasting station and social media platforms. Again, tonight, like every other night, we try our best to have meaningful conversations that help elevate the level of consciousness, one conversation at a time. And presently, we're going to have a great program here tonight, as we have two very special guests here, I must say. Tonight, we will be having a discussion with Loik Charles, who is a musician who goes by the name of Creature, an intellectual. He's a consciousness advocate and an overall free spirit. We also have Jordon Loik, who chooses just to be simply called Jordon, and will allow him to expound more on what he brings to the table. But I must say that he's definitely a conscious brother and a free-spirited individual. Last program, we had Ras Moses, who's a Caribbean performing recording artist. He's a performance poet, a master drummer, as well as a facilitator. And we spoke on the consciousness of the drums and appreciating our cultural wisdom. Today is also International Day for Persons with Disabilities, but I'd like to call them persons with special abilities. And the theme here today is United in Action to Rescue and Achieve the Sustainable Development Goals with and by persons with disabilities. So we're going to be speaking a bit more on that and other subject matters dealing with identity, mental awareness, as well as consciousness. We'll be seeking to understand the vision of Mr. Loik Charles and how he sees the world and his place in it, as well as assimilate some wisdom from Mr. Jordon Loik. And I want tonight to be different. Tonight there's going to be a conversational setting. So with the introductions done, I'd like to invite the creator, of course, who's the true consciousness, to bless us and bless our wisdom. So merciful Father, Yahweh, Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for another wonderful program here tonight, Streams of Consciousness. Allow your words to be felt, your energies to be heard to those who are needing, and allow your vibration of frequencies to be met on all levels to all those who need it. In your wonderful name I pray. Hallelujah. All right, so I'm going to allow the gentlemen to introduce themselves. Can you all hear me properly? Good evening, gentlemen. You can hear? All right, go on. Speak. It's a bit low. Say one more time.
Hello, good night.
Speaking to...
Yeah, good night.
All right. Say one more time.
Yeah, check.
Awesome. Loik, can you hear us here? He cannot hear us. Okay. Well, you're here on Zoom. Can you hear us now, Mr. Charles?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect.
Loud and clear.
All right. Good evening to everyone listening to DBS Radio, Streams of Consciousness. I am Loik Charles, also known as the artist Creature the Genius.
Creature the Genius.
Creature the Genius, yes, man.
All right. Well, it's an absolute pleasure.
Just to make one slight point of correction before we continue.
Go ahead.
The day was actually yesterday. International Day for Persons with Disabilities was December 3rd, which was yesterday. But I'm more than happy to still be observing it today.
Okay. Thank you so much for that correction, man. Volume for your mic. Can you hear? All right. So, Mr. Charles, Mr. Luke is having some audio difficulties here, but we're gonna rectify that real quick. I'm just gonna deal with him real quick, put some music to play, and get straight into the conversation, as I expect tonight to be an excellent one. So again, tell a friend to tell a friend that consciousness is on your airwaves, and tonight we have Mr. Loik Charles and Jordon Loik speaking on multiple conversations here tonight. Hey, have you ever wondered what our society would be like if there was more consciousness around, more positivity being displayed on social media and on the airwaves? Well, join me, Hassan Professor Robinson, every Monday on Dominica's broadcasting station, between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on a brand new program called Streams of Consciousness, where we seek to raise the level of consciousness one conversation at a time. So, tell a friend to tell a friend that consciousness is back on the airwaves. And remember, stay positive, stay conscious, stay tuned. And welcome back. Now the time is now 8:15 already, so we're expecting to have a really impactful conversation during the short time here. So, gentlemen, I'd like to first start off with Mr. Charles. As tonight, well, yesterday, as you rectified, was recognition of persons with special abilities, in my opinion. In your journey, has that identification or that labeling affect your identity? Have you always recognized, or did you ever identify as someone who might have a disability or disadvantage, or did you see your disadvantage as an advantage? That's part one of the question. And then the second one will then be to, based on your response to the answer, whether or not it's yes or no, how do you see yourself now in terms of a conscious being on this planet Earth in Dominica? This is a two-part question. And then we can forward that with Mr. Jordon Loik, who has a unique perspective on identity and how we see ourselves.
Okay, so thank you. So firstly, have I always seen myself as someone who has a disability? Well, unfortunately, to an extent, yes. And it is simply because of society and basically how the world around me works and operates. So within myself only, of course, I'm not disabled. I'm fully able and capable of doing anything that I set my mind to, and this is still true. But when you take into account like certain barriers that are there socially, certain barriers that are there in the world of education, certain barriers which exist, it makes it very difficult to maneuver if you are not fully able, if you're not a fully able-bodied person, I should say. Now I see myself as a person who does have a disability. I do not shy away from that fact. I'm not ashamed of that fact. However, I see myself as someone who has a very valid contribution to make to society, in every aspect of society that I am a part of. And so that's how I see myself, as a valuable member of society, a very important and impactful member of society. So that to answer your question, that's how I see myself. As a conscious being, I am very aware of who I am and my value and power.
Powerful said, man. Well said. I can definitely give respect to that. You recognize who you are, where you are, but you have never limited your self-identity based on social titles and whatnot. Same question.
Man, exactly.
Yes, So same question would be to Mr. Loik here, who simply goes by the name of Jordon. So let us know who you are, what you bring to the table, and how you recognize yourself in our present,
Okay. Firstly, good evening. Good evening to the listeners, the viewers, to my friends who have tuned in as well. My support. One of the most important parts of my life is definitely the people who check on me, who make sure I'm okay, who smile with me. Right. So, good night to all of you. In terms of identity, first things first. When you identify as, anything else seems less. So you identify as a Christian, then that means people who don't identify that's something obviously wrong with them because they don't see things that way. If I identify as someone who I see as right or live in a good way, then people who don't live like me obviously live a bad way. I mean, racism is a very simple way to describe that type of mindset. Another way to say it is that anything you see different than is less than. But if it's different from, you accepting that we're just not the same. So I am in terms of who I am, what I have done, my qualifications, because I reached at that stage already. I have worked and trained as a customer service rep, an inventory clerk, a bartender, a bar supervisor, a cook. I am currently pursuing my CONCACAF B license through the Dominica Football Association, and let me just say a very special thank you to them, because that's like a $20,000 course, and I just had to be committed and be willing to put in the hard work, and I get that opportunity. So I will never not be thankful to them. I might not agree with everything they say. I mean, I'm an Indigo Gen Z, so I wasn't born in that generation, but trust me, I believe in them, I connect to them. That's where I find my love. That's where I find the people that support me the most, easiest. The people I can work with, my footballers, basically the ones I train, that really like my sessions. that's the age group. So in terms of that, then yeah, because you have things that will always qualify you.
Right.
When a person dies, you dig up the body, you look at the pelvis. Is it open for children to pass through? That's a female. Is it closed to provide rigidity and stability? And I probably said I do it wrong, but anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's a man. That's a male. So there are certain factors we cannot get away from, and disabilities are something like that. You cannot hide the fact that, your frontal lobe is damaged. So your executive functions, time management, orderliness, them things that will always be dysfunctional because you have a damaged frontal lobe, like mine, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how it is. You live with it, you move on. As a very good friend of mine just said when we're playing football, moving on. I miskick the ball, I make a bad pass. Okay, I can tackle him. I don't tackle him. Moving on. Right. Because what is going is the past. And if you get stuck in the past, you delete your future, because you never have the future you're supposed to have because you're worrying about the past in the present,
Right.
And is that line from Kung Fu Panda? You check. The past is gone.
Yes, sir.
The future is a mystery, but the current right now is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Positive.
So, and consciousness is that, being in the moment. So.
Indeed. So we're giving thanks for the present moments and a future of present moments, right? So you two gentlemen are very unique in your own individual ways in terms of how you approach life. You, Mr. Luke, stated that you've been diagnosed with
bipolar disorder.
Bipolar disorder. Mr. Charles have been diagnosed with the how do you say
I
it?
guess blindness, you would say. We just call it
Blind.
blind.
But is it blind though? Because you can have eyes and not have vision.
Physical it's physical blindness. Physically, yes, I am blind.
Okay, so physically we have a blind person here, so I'm trying to catch the vision. In my own personal case, for those who know me, I a couple years back in my 20s, I self-admitted to the Dominica psych ward, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, for the simple fact that I felt like mentally I wasn't, in that balanced state that I accustomed to being in. And so I just ran up to the hospital, one of those nights. And I told them, hey, listen, I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling like, something is really right in my conscious being or whatever. And I give them a false name. I give them, because I don't want my parents to know, I give them, first person they go to call is about that. So I give them a false name and tell them my name is something else. So then I went for the process, and then they put me on this, the interviewing process with the doctors and everything, and then the nurses, and then I heard them diagnosed schizophrenic. I'm like, nah, listen, I'm not schizophrenic. I just feel like mentally I had blah, blah, blah. I gave it a false name and blah, 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 blah. And then, so I was there for like 3 days. And during that time, I felt okay in the sense of did it as a time, a pause, a break. Same way like if you have a vehicle that's broken down and you need to go to the mechanic to check it out. If you feel like your mind is not in a right state or whatever, the best place to go is up there. So there's a stigma against that. So I guess we all bring that level of mental stigmatization on social, classification of who we are based on what society says. So now now, gentlemen here, let's talk about overcoming those stigmas. How difficult or how easy, depending on your experience, has it been to overcome those social stigmas of, okay, you're a blind dude, so we know you cannot whatever. Okay, we know you have your mood swings. You know what I mean? We cannot really engage in certain ways. How difficult or how easy was it to then overcome the social stigmas? Any one of you guys, and feel free.
Well, I wouldn't mind because mine might take a little more
Yeah,
explanation.
man, go for it. You can go first.
All right,
You can go
merci, bro. Merci. Well, I was the one. While I was in university, I was like, no, something not right because I had an accident. I've actually have a very similar story to my former classmate, Ben Brinjoli, RIP, my guy. Check.
RIP.
R.I.P.
A vehicle hit me, and from that, I started having visions. I started seeing things. I started getting dizzy. I started, but telling people. I mean, I could read when I was 3 years old. I was walking when I was 1. I was bright, so I could always take care of myself. So it was difficult for my family to understand, like, I'm not okay, because even if mentally I cannot function properly, my father built a lot of good things in Dominica. My grandfather, the last renovation, the previous one that was actually completed of the Roseau Cathedral, the Social Security Building, the Roseau Post Office, the Aid Bank, that was my family.
Wow.
So I mean, like, I always tell a joke with people, like, I sat in the Aid Bank's manager's chair before him because that was the only way they were going to get me to sit still. I had to put me in the main chair.
Okay.
Tell me it's my grandfather's chair, so I would sit down there and behave as a little boy.
Okay.
And I always was independent in thinking, but I was always dependent in management in itself, of being on time, doing things on time, keeping to my task, keeping my word, always speaking the truth, because sometimes I just lie. I don't know why, it just happens. And then I went to school, I went to the doctor, and that's probably one of the most traumatizing things. And I followed the diagnosis form. She watched it. I'm going to get the medication, I'll be right back. I was like, yeah, okay.
Medication.
And then coming back, trying, keeping on, and getting support. I think support is the main thing. Like, externally, your environment is very important. The people you surround yourself with, the people who support you, who tell you the messages you get on a daily basis. It doesn't always have to be positive, like, oh, you're such a good boy, I love you so much. It can be like, bro, get up, go and do what you have to do, and shake up yourself, right? And maybe sometimes it's just a hard slap, just and just catch yourself, wake out of the dream, man, shake up. And I was doing good, but I mean, my father passed. I went into my first major depressive episode. I went into shock, but I didn't really realize it. But when I go into shock, I get more productive. So I came back to Dominica, I get another job. I start working at garage turned into the hotspot of the town. Fast forward a couple of years, nasty business and Colomifet were things that my energy basically influenced. I'm very proud of the people who did it, because I see a lot of development and growth in them from where they were when they were in college, when they used to come and hide in the corner, to big performers and artists. But big up Freddie, my guy. Boy. I used to have to beg Freddie to sing that song. And that for me, that's the joy of spreading my energy around, because then later I get to sit back and I get to watch what it did. But then Hurricane Maria stole 2 things from me: my family and my football dream. And for the last 6 years, I've been in a funk. Literally cannot find myself, just lost.
For 6
because
years,
I cannot find football the way I want. And
you said 6 years, right?
yes, Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Maria blow away my dream. Literally blow it away. Also the Canfield Park I used to train on, still in a mess. Look, the parent came to me and said, Jordon, because we are a mutual friend. Jordon, my child loves football, and you're good, you like your coaching, you're so passionate, I see you, I hear you, and I would like you to coach with him. And that in itself was something because the reason my mother didn't let me play football was because she did not like the environment. So for a mother to say, Jordon, I trust the environment you will create for my son, and basically my number one goal was achieved. 7 years later, look, the man playing football on the national under 20 team now. Canfield still look pilots.
Yeah, man.
Bro, seriously.
Yes.
If you were my father and you take that long to come back into my life, whenever you come back, I can tell you, I can't keep I wouldn't say it nice. I would just gonna leave that alone. Just know, don't come and tell me nothing. Check your scene, check if you are grandchildren, check them, but don't call me, don't talk to me, leave me alone. Because you were never there. I don't, because the thing is, for me, what I come to realize is that, and as a Gen Z, is that if you don't care about me, I don't want to hear you. You don't care about my opinion. You don't care about what I have to say. You don't care about my feelings, my reality. You want me to understand perspective from you when I can barely understand my perspective. Like, keep your opinion now, okay? I can feed myself. I'm wealthy. Valder Henry taught me that. When I went to the Wealth Symposium, I attended the Wealth Symposium. And wealth is the ability to generate wealth, to generate finances. If you can generate, you're wealthy. I maybe don't have a lot of money, but again, bartender, cook, referee, coach, salesman, inventory clerk, supervisor, manager.
Yeah.
I must get a job. Driver.
Definitely.
I must get a job. I can feed myself. So you can keep your opinion.
Okay, so you basically overcome it by willpower and determination and effort, and of course a support system, like you stated as well.
Yeah.
I must say kudos to you and kudos to that, because a lot of people probably still are, suffering some way or form from Hurricane Maria in terms of the traumatization
the mental, yeah.
Mental.
It's hard because, to be working on something,
yeah,
and like to smell success. And we're not talking about, like, when you stand up close to someone that's baking a pie, and you can smell that chicken bun and making you start to bave, and like your mind just get distracted. Well, put work in a plan into that. Where you have a plan and you set out and you say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. Yes. And then you start knocking, you actually start meeting your goals, your short-term goals, your mid-term goals, and then it's actually just about waiting until you eventually knock over your long-term goals, and then the platform just disappear.
Okay.
Like,
so
I have to start over.
Okay, let's segue from here to Mr. Charles here. So you heard Mr. Luke's story. Not story, it's not a story, it's your life. His experience. What about you though? How did you overcome yours? And I'm guessing music some way, somehow helped with that process as well.
Yeah, man. So, well, growing up, as I said, it has always been, I've always had, like, help and assistance in certain aspects in terms of education and so on. I went to the Berean Christian Academy. That was the primary school I was across the bridge in Portersville. That was next to the Rosa Seven Days Adventist Primary. That's where I went to. So I went to the Berean Christian Academy. I was able to learn Braille at school with the help of a teacher, Miss Sandra Henderson. So I was able to learn Braille, which is it's dots. It's dots that blind people use. We can feel it, and that helps us to be able to read on a piece of paper or whatever it is. So it's dots. You have them in different patterns, and they basically form different letters and numbers and whatever else, symbols. So I went through the primary school. I did common entrance. Then I went through SMA. Now, through high school, things were a bit more difficult. There's a lot more distractions. The work got a lot more difficult, There were times when I felt like, I wanted to drop out of school. There were honestly times when I felt that way. And yeah, I had encouragement from family. I had encouragement from my parents, and I had encouragement from who had to step in at once or twice. Mr. Holmes, he counseled me once or twice as well, Mr. Thomas Holmes, in order to keep me on track, keep my mind on track, because being blind and going through school. Yes, I also went through college and university, and yes, it's very, I would say, it's a proud thing. It's a proud moment, to be able to have the degrees on their belt and have gone through the educational system. But sometimes it's difficult, and it's like, what is there for? Like, I have a degree under my belt, and it's still like, feels like people are asking me, well, you're blind, so what can you do? Like, yeah, you have it. It's like I qualified, and it's like I'm not qualified. It's like back to square one. Sometimes that can be very, very challenging. What I would say that keeps me afloat is for sure, like, just the music is one of my biggest escapes and getaways. Yeah, trust me. Like, oftentimes more than 80% of the time, you can more catch me consuming music than making music. Like, I would more be listening to music, enjoying a song, listening to some music rather than making it, because even that in itself sometimes can be frustrating. It's fun and great, but then when I really sit back and think, okay, so I'm gonna make this and then what, that aspect of it can also put me in a bit of a funk, you know. So what I say that keeps me going through and through, and I know all of us here may have different spiritual beliefs, but what gets me through is my faith in God. I'm going to say that straightforward is my faith in God, because without Him, without Jesus, I don't think I would be anywhere near where I am right now. So I first and foremost, I always acknowledge that no matter what, because good day, bad day, in between day,
Yeah, man.
it's always there's always hope, and that's the way that I look at it to keep going. Life not easy, trust me, it's not. But when you just try to find something to live for spiritually, because
Right.
the physical things will fade away, everything on earth will fade away, but what you have spiritually, yeah, that's what's going to last.
Man, that's well said. That's well said. I must say, from both of you guys, it's very inspirational to know that despite the challenges, the only thing that really could ever stop you guys was your self determination, and of course, a support system is very important as well. Once you're dealing with issues of mental concern and issues of just a man having confidence in himself, or a woman having confidence in herself, anyone is having confidence in themselves. So I must say it's commendable. And of course, like you well stated, all things are possible for the creator. So it's already 8:35. I guess we're gonna have to take maybe a 5 minutes extra just to catch the balance of the program because of the late start and everything. But around this time, I usually take a music break. Seeing that you spoke about your music here, I feel like it is okay to vibe to your music. There's one called Good Vibes. So before I play this one, just let us know what was the mindset that got you into just your musical, that song, Good Vibes, and just your music on a whole. And then I would ask you, Jordan, what got you into football and passion, not just playing it, but wanting to coach it as well, and how those two things meet. So I'm just going to run this one here by a creature called Good Vibes, and I'm just going to catch a musical segment, then we're going to go deeper into the next aspect of this program here, Streams of Consciousness.
Alright.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Yeah, yeah. We checking good vibes, good vibes. We don't looking for no animosity. We never switch sides, switch sides. We know I nobody energy round.
This from
Good
Dominican Loik Charles,
We don't look
also known as Creature.
tell you it's just goodbye.
Good Vibes.
We never switch sides, yeah. I gotta get it every day. Sometimes my life is every waste. I promise I will never feel, cause I got
Hold up. You have a flow kick.
to get this dream, cause I look out for snakes, cause I know they're shifting shapes. But God, don't make mistakes, no, no. Pray anytime you see they hating on you. And if they digging you a grave, dig one too. Let me tell you what my mama told me. She tell me, son, don't never lose your way or change your ways for anyone. Lord, let me make a way and pave a way while I still young. What you give me, Lord, they cannot take away. No, they can't take away, no. We checking good vibes, good vibes. We don't looking for no animosity. We never switch sides, switch sides. We know I nobody energy round. Good vibes, good vibes. We don't looking for no animosity. Tell you it's just goodbye, goodbye. We never switch sides, yeah. It's a good vibe spelled with some big letters. She be thick and out, I call her black pepper. Yeah, she into me and it's her first time. Got her smiling now.
All right, so let's talk a bit because you hit some lines here on this
Yeah,
one.
man.
But hear that now. For my B license, I plan on putting together a video portfolio. I want to ask you permission to use your song as the audio for that. Just
Yeah,
if you
man,
can find my cover
definitely,
music.
bro. Of course,
Yes,
man. Let's talk more on that, man. After all,
Yeah,
that's
let's see.
that.
I think I want to do
Oh.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
one of the kind of
Relax.
inspiration, the energy I'm looking for real. Good vibes.
Good vibes. I
Oh.
love that. I love that vibe.
Bye.
And then, like, while we're on the music, right? Because singing is a thing I never really tell people I could do. I always used to hide the fact I could sing, you check.
Yeah.
But now my sister and her friends now, they have a thing on me. When you're young and you're doing things, you check, they don't let you forget it. So we had like them check. We had some holiday. Check like, Jordan, let's sing. No, we're not singing. Okay, look, we have a name, Sixers and a Baby, because there were 6 of us and a baby in the house. So six little children. So Sixers and a Baby, that is in them. I say, no, what rubbish are they doing? Next thing I hear people come and singing a song and thing. I check in, nah, man, I'm not singing that for you. I end up singing this song. I learned that boy so off job used to jam that. You check? Yeah. So they never let me forget. They know I can sing. I just play and sing. So when I got to a certain level in my football career as a coach, which is why I'm currently my main focus, I had to come to a realization that if I was going to challenge players to step out of their comfort zone, I had to do the same thing. I had to do it for myself if I wanted to be able to challenge them. Because, again, my family history is doing things well, building things that last Hurricane David and Hurricane Maria. So I consider them some of the best contractors in the Western Hemisphere. Because there are plenty of people that can say they build buildings that survive the 2 strongest storms in history. Check, my father, my grandfather can say that. So if I'm going to be a part of a football culture, a football environment, boy, I have to come good to beat me. Right. You check, I don't come in there for the parade, I don't know music and no participation prize. I want the prize money. That is what we're competing for, the prize money. That is what I want. Right. Check, so that is the main thing about me. And it doesn't mean I'm going to sacrifice the players' safety, their mentality. No, because a strong man is a great man. I don't want to have to babysit you on the field. I want you to go and do your own fighting. So we're training you to be great. Because I want to be great. So the ones who follow me can be greater. And the ones who take over them can be the greatest. You understand? So
definitely.
It's a process of development, and that's just basically me in football. So anyway, I was talking about me and the music for a reason, because now you check, I don't want to get left behind. So I just gonna give all that a clip. You check, I can sing it a cappella. You check. So basically the story behind that song I go to do is like a tribute to Mordecai, because although he was a badhead, real badhead, you'll hear that in the song, but he started nasty business. That was when his father died. He used to grab the mic, nasty business, if he's cigarette and he's drinking his hand. Always used to have it like that. So the drink and the cigarette on the side there. And the boy used to freestyle and do his thing. And the boy used to have the people on them rocking that garage. Now for me, as someone who has basically been a bar supervisor, the bartender, but basically the experienced manager for a long time at that bar, that was the best performer I had seen. And there was one night in particular that touched me. I get a producer for the man, you know. I get an agreement, tell the producer, look, just make music, just make beats, send for me stuff, we will go record that, we go figure that out. The night I agreed, the afternoon at 4 o'clock, I make the agreement. By 9 o'clock the night, they shoot the man, you know. So anyway, that is the song. So Freeze did the beat for me. You check, so because Freeze was the artist, the producer I had gotten. So that is the second verse. Big up King Kai, I know you didn't see. The one who made the African say no, Afro please. Turn it off, flash, hear what they want. They started singing over the box. Rough up, she like. She don't want no nice touch. Rough up, she like. And then the second verse now, it going into big up King Kai, not a mic man, but a bike man, a real bad man, never afraid to pull it. When he had to, he always had to. Life hard, you true. One wheel in the air, no fear. Night out at garage, no cares. Bad head here he comes to the bar. Boy, line long. He doesn't care, you check. So basically that is just like, for me, I had to let it out. Because I always knew nasty business was going to burst. It's not about the content, it's about the energy. And the other thing we're not realizing, well, the ones above us not realizing, our Gen Z is actually our golden generation. And we need to care for them, love them, help them develop and grow. They're difficult because they know what they want. And people who have self-actualized do not become great until they find that thing that drives them, that makes them spark. Jolly was always an artist. Yes, sir. Jolly was the first man I ever performed. Every step I take, stop class in grade 4 and sing the whole song because Diddy died, because Notorious B.I.G. just died. Wow. You know, so like that was always in him. That was always who he was. But when, again, he said it in the song, you know, if you mess around, you have to go on ice. You know what he do. Okay. I was living like Scarface. I see him a couple times. You check, but he didn't run away from his reality he created. Okay. He was a very conscious person, you know. The boys would call me Dracula because I used to work so much that at some point in time, you would come into the bar and you just see me like that. My eyes closed, I stand up, you talk to me, I start talking. You know, I used to, like, one morning we waiting for breakfast. Yeah. And he behind me in the line. So they serve the person in front of me, and then the server tell him, "Come forward, Mister not ready yet." But the man there, my girl, you're dreading the man now. I just seen, and again loyal to his friends.
Yeah.
They say so the partner at the back say, "My boy, Mister sleeping. Go and watch and you'll see." Well, that was the end of that.
Right.
The next guy come to work, Dracula.
All right. So speaking about one creature called Dracula, we have one called Creature here who had who's a present, doing his own thing here. So I see you have good vibes, and we're speaking on that, the mindset behind that. Then there's another one called Deliver Me. So we're gonna try and get a little information based on the process behind that. Not knocking over, two legends like Jolly and the homeboy that passed away as well. You know what I mean? I understand the vibrations there. We're talking about respecting people and their natural ability to just create things on the spot and that talent. You have to give credence to that. And the lyrics of your song, of course, I can already hear the beat in the back of my mind, so I know those lyrics it's not fake lyrics, it's lyrics that describing the person and the scenario. So let's talk about you here, Creature. The time is already 8:45 here, so we're gonna give you your time to talk about your process and how that musical how the music flows in your mind, in your mind's eye. And do you even see me like that's I would always ask you that. I asked you that in college. I remember that when we were in college together. I remember asking you, do you see music and how do you dream? And you gave me an interesting response that stuck with me. I want people to hear what you say in terms of like how you see things and how you see music and that kind of a thing.
Well, in terms of seeing in my dreams, no, I don't see in my dreams, because that aspect of consciousness, I would say, is reserved for people who could see before and then became blind after a certain time. Right. I do have that because I could never see before. So, in that sense, not exactly. Yeah. But I can see music in the sense that I imagine certain colors of certain music, certain songs, because when I was younger, about 5 or so, I could never see. I never had full eyesight. However, I did have color identification. So my dad taught me the colors, so I know red, blue, green, white, black. I know all the colors. And so there's certain numbers and certain notes that I associate with certain colors. But it's specifically for me, it's more with numbers and letters. So days of the week, months of the year have different things that each of them represents a different color, identified by different color in my mind. I don't know how to explain. For instance, the number 5 is like a light brown, almost yellowish. Yeah, that's what the number 5 is. 4 is a more of a darker brown, and 3 is like a grayish kind of color. So I see where the numbers just pop up in my mind as a color. Now, in terms of the music we were referring to, Good Vibes actually came about, and one thing, shout out to my bro Desla. One time, that's my boy from time. He also does music in Bulio and local rap and stuff. Yeah, so he actually was the one that came with me with that concept. So now, but all he had was the beat, and he had the beat, and I was kind of just playing around with the chorus, trying to think of a chorus, and then I come up with the chorus. I was like, "We're checking good vibes, good." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I gotta record that." So I recorded it like a demo, sent for him so he could hear how it was going. I sent a voice note. He was like, "Yeah, that's sounding proper." So then I usually type out my lyrics. I usually write my lyrics. I can freestyle, but I don't really like freestyling because I take lyrics very seriously. And I like writing. I take writing. I take grammar and words very seriously. So while yes, freestyling is fun and so, but when you construct and contemplate your lyrics and you actually meditate on the lyrics, you come up with better lyrics. So I like
as a freestyle, I kind of disagree. I'm a freestyler, so.
Okay, well, yeah, we can agree to disagree there. Because I freestyle a lot too, but for me freestyle a bit more difficult because it's like I just be torn between, like, I want it to make sense, I want it to tell a story, and I still want it to rhyme. So it's like if you have to keep up with all of that, and stay on a beat, stay on a reading, stay with a flow is a lot, you know.
Yes, it's a
So
mental
I prefer.
exercise, man.
Hmm?
It's a mental exercise, you know.
Yeah, man, it really is.
Yeah,
But I will tell you for sure, I will agree that it's fun. It's fun for real. Yeah, man. But so with the music now, you know, I kind of just find something that speaks to me instrumentally. You know, I find something that speaks to me. Now and then I dabble in producing myself. So now and then I'll do my own production, but very far and few between because, or few and far between because it's harder for me to do those things using the software that I use. The software that I use is not the typical software that most producers use. I like for instance, I know you know that software source. I produce using Audacity. Now most people would ball on that and wonder what's all Mr. using Audacity to make beats and so on.
right.
But it's a matter of manipulating the software and making it do what you want. Is you that controlling the computer. You know the computer not controlling you. So it's you
Okay, let's
to
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that now. Let's go a little bit deeper here. So we're talking about manipulating the software. We also spoke about the mathematics of colors. We spoke on, you know, the unpredictabilities of life and how anything can happen. How someone can recognize your talent and ability and an opportunity come and the opportunity comes at the same time of your demise. All of these things here, you know, they have some sort of connection, some sort of meaning. I'm going to use your same phrase or statement in that we in control of the computer. If our mind is the computer, if our brain is the computer, then we in control of that. So if consciousness, therefore, is the operating system, and many of us are operating using a similar operating system, can we now have a operating system where society can say, you know what, my son also has this passion for musical this or this and that, and he's also someone who's special. Do you see yourself being in a position whereby you can say, hey, listen, I am this is my operating system, this is what I do, you can do it as well? Is it a one size fits all type of mentality approach, or is every single a person unique in how they use the operating system? Take for example, Jordan has his particular challenges.
I would say the unique way.
The
I would have
unique.
to go with unique because
Okay, talk to me.
I mean everybody have their own. While yes, we all have consciousness, we all operate on a different level of consciousness. You know, some people it's just like let's say reading. Some people read on different level. You know, some people can read bigger words, spell bigger words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's just break it in that simple sense, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas others, you know, they can, or depend on the age group, you know. So that's what I think of it as. Now, what I think is you can develop your consciousness. Like you can, it's just like a muscle. It's just an invisible muscle, you know. Just like how earlier we mentioned mental exercise,
Yes.
freestyling. There's all different types of mental, emotional, and spiritual exercises that we can do to make sure we keep ourselves in check in that sense, you know.
All right.
So yeah, man,
That's well said.
that's my opinion.
I couldn't agree more, you know. In terms of Jordan here, who is also a coach, that question in terms of the one size fit, do you have specific exercises for each individual on your team, or do you how do you then approach that situation?
Well, in terms of my base philosophy is mental. Any sport is 70% mental, so I spend 70% of my focus training the mentality, the things you recognize, the things you see, the things you know you're supposed to do. Again, I'm not supposed to tell you in the game what you have to do. You have to know what you have to do and do it. So responsibility is a characteristic you're supposed to see of my players. They're supposed to be fit. They're supposed to be assertive. In smaller groups, they're supposed to hunt in a pack, like a wolf pack, because together we achieve our goals. And 1v1, we're supposed to be strong. So how everyone learns those concepts is on them. You know, I would say in terms of my own base feelings and beliefs, I would consider myself a stoic.
Stoic.
Someone who understands what I can control, which is only my perception and how I take things and the actions I take based on my perception. I have my obligations, which are the things that I am heavily invested in, which would be football and my family, and then the other people that I love. And then my justification, which is that I believe in the love of the Father, agape, unconditional love. So you have to give things a space. If you love something, you let it go. If you do not love something, you try to trap it and keep it, because a closed hand does not lose, but it cannot receive. An open hand can lose, but it can receive. And the love of the Father is to receive, So in terms of that and how we can go about it, and that would be my advice to anybody who feel like they're struggling, they're working towards something, they're not seeing results. What is your plan? What is your why? Then ask yourself, am I working as hard as I can? Are other people who doing a similar thing working harder than me? So obviously I'm not working as hard, I can work a little harder. It is not a competition in terms of better than. It is a competition in terms of different from. So if I'm different from you, then I will have a different path from you. But that does not mean I want to see you running 20 miles per hour and I walking at 1. No. Like I want to go 22. That's human nature. That's animal nature. That is the way of the land. Survival of the fittest.
Right.
If the Creator did not want it to be that way, it would not have been that way. Because everything has a pair. Everything.
I like that. If it's not,
Every yin have a yang.
Merci.
go ahead. You can go ahead. You were saying something.
Oh, no, I was just saying every yin have a yang. That is it, everything have an opposite, Every up have a down. That's how it is,
Right.
Yeah, and it's important to realize and to acknowledge that. And words can lie. Actions are not able to. So you can tell me whatever you want.
Let me add philosopher to your description here tonight.
Yeah, that's my first quote. Yeah, that's my first quote. Words can lie, but actions are not able to. And can is a funny word for me, because can represents two words. You are either willing to do it or you are able to do it. So people with disabilities physically are not able to do certain things. As the king said, he cannot see. He could never see. So he is physically unable. So whether he's willing or not doesn't matter. He cannot do it, because the main one part of it, he cannot. Right. But you can be willing to hide your actions, might try to hide your what you mean, but they're not able to, because your actions have to come from a space of meaning. If you take actions vike, then you're going to end up in trouble. You're going to see realities that you don't want to see, And while I want to take a pause, because I want to. Normally, when people kill themselves, it's not something we just really talk about. We just like, oh no, that's a bad person, and so on, so on, so. But I want to say something about Ronald Astafans, because I met Ronald in 2 professional settings, and he was someone I always felt very, not sympathy, but in the colloquial terms, sorry. I felt sorry for him, because what had happened to him was not fair. If you ever been to Ronald property on Mero Hill, if I was the government, I build the road. Because as an event promoter, I have inside, outside, upstairs, a lawn, a view, space for music, space for chairs, space for tents. Bro, you can throw about 20 different parties up there. And to see you build something like that for your dream and you cannot do it, to see people work for you their whole life and you can't even give them a stipend, you can't even tell them, look, thank you for your service, because it just did not work out and it failed. And he kept trying and trying. When I was at my last job, we used to deliver bread for him. If Ronald called and said, Jordon, I need the bread early, Ronald was my first delivery. Regardless if I had to go to town and come back, because again, my actions had to show that he was somebody I appreciated, and whatever extra help I could give him, I would. And it does be difficult, because I wanted to disappear. I don't want to be around, because I didn't feel like I was appreciated. I didn't feel like nobody cared about who I am or who I was and what kind of reality I was forced to live. Everybody want me to be organized, but bro, when each van hit me and send my brain in a scramble, pieces of my brain don't connect. Like some of my screws, they're there, but they slack. They're not really screwing. They're just there for aesthetics, you understand? So when I say I cannot do it, why you expect me to do it? You understand? I cannot do it. I have to live with that. Right. Whether or not I want to be right, I'm going to be wrong. That's what the doctor said. So that's why stoicism was very important to me, because it was cognitive behavior therapy. That was the therapy method I was looking into, but there's no one that really does that. But the basis of cognitive behavioral therapy is stoicism, controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts, what you give your energy to, what you focus on, what is the most important thing to you. I cannot control my brain. Sometimes I just start to get vertigo and I just get dizzy and I faint a couple times. I don't have no control over my body when them things happen. So obviously I can't control my body. Sometimes, you know, when I'm in my good mood and carnival time and, you know, I get a little drunk, I might take off my shirt. I don't know. I don't know. It just happen. But at the end of the day, I forgive myself and I move on. It's just me in the moment, enjoying life as the moment, because when I go on, I can't enjoy it. So I'm going to enjoy it while I can.
Right. And just to add to what you say in here, I believe someone else, I'm not sure if it was a suicide, someone else also took their life
this
today.
morning at convent, across from convent, that too.
Man, condolences to the family and friends of that
Indeed.
young man as well, man.
And to all the victims, because at the end of the day, like, it have a lot of crime happening is because people under pressure and pressure burst pipe, you know, and we don't have that support. But you need to find what makes you happy, because like I know football makes me happy, and if it wasn't for my players, I probably would have been a real mess. You know, like we started our CONCACAF B license course this weekend, and we're using the national under 20 team as our test subjects for we're doing practicals. In that team, there's a young man from Bellevue. I used to volunteer and go and coach. And you know what he said to me when he said, "But coach, I remember you. Remember what you had to say? National team is the goal." And he smiled because he make it. There are two boys from Kalibishi. That was the team I was just training. There are two boys from Marigot. And from my first team, my first position in football as youth development officer at Milam United, Malachi and Josima are there as well. So I had 7 players. So if I'd quit, what would be the life of them 7 players? Plus Muzi and Jordon, my first 2 great guys.
Yeah.
That's the reason I fell out with Midland United, because I tell them, yo, if we're going to have a friendly, I'm going to referee that like an international referee, because Mosey going to make it. And everybody was like, no, but John, you have to be so serious. And then I said, what? What are you telling me? Are you not prepared to develop the greatest guy we're going to have of guys in the last 10 years? Because I'm not in all the thing. I'm going to work my business. I don't know that, boy. Right. I'm not ready yet. Right. I'm not in that.
So not to segue too much here, because it's already 9:01. I'm appreciative of the extra time here. But we did just breeze over a very deep conversation, which is giving up on life. So suicide might not be, they are fatal. There are different types of suicide, I believe. I'm not a medical expert on that, but just shared my opinion. The views and opinions here shared on this program is not that of DBS, but that of Streams of Consciousness. So anything said here is not to be taken on to DBS. However, what I believe that you can have suicide in terms of your thoughts too. You can kill your own thoughts. You can kill your ambitions. Dreams. You can kill your dreams. You know, you can put an end to those things. You know, before they blossom. Many of us have suicidal tendencies on our ambitions and our goals. We might give up before we see anything happen. So to whoever who might be in that position or state of mind, you know, the most important person is the Creator. The Creator will never give up on you. The Creator is the one who gives you the breath of life. And if you're in that state of mind right now, whereby you feel like, man, I should give up, you shouldn't. You should give in. When I say not give up but give in, you know, just give in to the Creator a little bit more. You know, give him or her or it or whatever you recognize that essence of life to be more of control. Because our mind, you know, is just a tool, an instrument, just like money. We can use it wisely or not, but the Creator is the ultimate. So just give in to the Creator a bit more, yeah? So that's just my little take in that as well.
Well, before we leave, I have something very important I'd like to share. Because you touched on a very personal point for me. Because I found a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis, according to how it would be in the DSM-5 for suicidal, somebody who would consider being suicidal. They give away all their things. They stop liking the things that they used to like. They become asexual, meaning they do not want to have sex. They want to kill themselves. They harm themselves. They have a desire to not be around, and they tend to isolate themselves. I found that the only 2 things I didn't do was harm myself and try to kill myself. Okay. But I had every other diagnosis for at least 3 years. You know, like I bought a barbecue grill, I give it to my friend. I had training equipment, I had balls, I had things, I give it away. When I moved out of my apartment I had stayed in, where I was supposed to start my family, I give away free kitchens, you know. I give away a first portion of stuff. I give away another portion of stuff. I bring some for my grandmother. I still bring some for my mother. I just didn't want anything to do with my old life again. And that's when I knew, like, Mario hit me hard and he put me in that state. And I didn't realize it for a very long time. And for you, it had to realize when you're in a funk. Because if you're in a mental prison, but you don't realize you're in a prison, how are you supposed to know you're in a prison? If the people around you don't love you out of that state.
Right.
So, again, make sure you check
I
out the
like the
people
way
you
you
love.
put that, man. You say love you out of that state. That is a very powerful way to put that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because
Talk to us.
it's love is unconditional, and I will see you at your worst. And that's my last. That's why I'm going to end.
Nah,
I had an experience with a friend, and it made me realize that I need to find myself and I need to do some traveling. And that's why I went to live in Calibishi. That's why I went to live with my grandmother in Emsall. That's why I ended up working in Marigot, because, you know, all those things had to help me shape my mind and understand my reality. I was feeling really down. So I in his yard with there. And I do not touch his plants. I do not touch his plants because he's very personal about his plants. So I started something just tell me, but John, what wrong with you? Touch me now, talk to me now, tell me what's going on now. Like I hear that, like getting like a feeling, like it's a voice, but not really a feeling, but it's a voice. And I just reach out my hand like that, you check, and I start rubbing a rosemary leaf in my fingers, and my boy start making noise in my chest, like, John, I'm here, my plant, because he checking like he never hear the plant scream, like he never hear so much pain, like the plant starts screaming to him. And then the next day the plant die.
you serious? Oh, you're sodomizing.
No, the plant wanted him to know how bad I was feeling. You know, and that's the thing, when you're deeply connected to somebody. Again, if you're in control of life, you're going to know. So, like, it was the entire situation. So the plant now was checking, my brother, look, I passing a message for you. See how you respond to the message. You know what? I'm not any value to you. Bye-bye. I go on. And that's how the Creator does work. That's why Moses never entered the promised land. Because God talked to you once, he talked to you twice, he talked to you 3 times. Bro, you reach the promised land and you're telling man about, oh, but the fruit looking to buy by me, I want in all you. When I reach my promised land, who don't want to hear again, I pushing all you over. I crossing over all you. I don't stay outside the fall you. Okay. Because bro, tell me where the promised land is for years and years ago. So when you say I reach, if you don't want to walk inside with me, I walking over you. I'm not waiting for you. Okay. I'm not going to end up like Moses. I don't go down so. Okay. Faith is an action word. And that is why if you're going to love me out of my poor state, you have to show me love. I have to feel it like the breeze. I have to smell it like a bad poom. Check. Good night.
Right,
Like
Mr.
a perfume, like a good poom. Love good, not bad.
No, but when this thing come out like that and you check it, you just feel like a relief. So.
Okay.
So I can say it like that, you know.
Okay, we gotta leave the philosophy. So, Loik, now talk to us a bit. Any intake or outputs on, you know, what he just touched on here. You know, especially in the part of the prison, the not feeling the desire to continue. You know, did you?
Man.
Yeah, talk to us.
I'll give you a little story, exclusive. When I was I was in New York for a couple of months. I was actually in San Antonio, and then you know, things were not really panning out. So I moved to New York with my brother to see, you know, what could happen there for me, you know, in terms of the different environment, different job markets, you know, trying to figure out what you know, if I could get anything in terms of my qualification.
Yes.
And the week before I left, that entire week before I left Texas, that was probably the worst week I've had in a while. Wow. I don't know what it was. The energy, like everything was just off. I just wasn't feeling like myself. I was, I don't know what the term is, but it's like when things happening around you and you're taking them personally, like thinking like everything that happening around you is about you. I was going through that as well, like a lot of these things. And I had to move and I had to get rid of a lot of my stuff because there was a lot of things that I couldn't hold. But you only have up to a certain weight you can carry. I had to get rid of a lot of stuff, man, and all that had me, trust me, it was really, really, really rough, bro. Yeah. And one thing that I don't know what it was, that I just kept, you know, praying, man. I just kept trying to put myself in a state of positivity and to be okay, because that's all we really want to do is to be okay. And thank God, in the times like that, when I was going through that in those few months ago, I was constantly speaking to my mother, constantly speaking to my sister, and even my girlfriend as well. But to an extent, I was kind of pushing her away as well because of the state I was in, and she was someone who was nearby. Like I talking like less than 10 minutes away driving, and
Yeah.
I just kind of stayed away from her. I didn't really answer messages, didn't really answer her calls because of what I was going through. Sometimes when we're going through those things, all we need is there's only a certain kind of people or certain people in our lives that we need around us, and sometimes there's no one who can help us. We just need to turn to the Creator. You know, that one, that original source of love, that original source of life.
Mm.
That is one place we can turn to sometimes. That is one place we can turn to, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, while we're on that topic as well, like anybody out there that I know it's hard right now, tough right now, trust me. Anybody that needs somebody to speak to, please reach out to somebody. And I see posts, people on Facebook refuting a lot of things, a lot of different opinions. Everybody have their opinions to check in, you know, like reach out to reach out to people and somebody just talk too much and this and that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, like at the end of the day, we are all humans. We all, whether or not those things are true, they are. We still, everybody, no man is an island. Everybody needs somebody to feed on. You know, that is what the song says. You know, and right now the pressure, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of things happening. Just we need to kind of try and stick together, unity, and help to create innovative ways to spreading each other more. You know,
Right.
and that's just it.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man. And you see, like I say, I was done, you know. But you
but
see what
the-
you just said there.
Real quick, before you continue, I'm just mindful of the time. Time is now 9:11. We have about 2 minutes extra for the max, and then we have to make way for the next program here.
Okay,
So
no problem.
we've been.
So I can be brief. So when I studied psychology, we were actually studying deviant behavior. So we were studying suicide in class. So I go to the computer room and I start typing, talking to one of my friends in the lounge, in the student lounge
Yeah.
on MSN. So I say, oh, I can't kill myself. I can't take it. I frustrated. I done it life. And I go through the entire process, like from the book. So I talking to her like I serious about it. I when she give me the things, I looking for all the rebuttals that somebody would give you if they're trying to make an intervention.
Help you.
And I basically just messing with my friend.
Oh my God.
And I had one of the most powerful moments I ever had in my life. Boy, Kaya Dawa, thank you. Wherever you are in life, I'll always love you. Boy, Kaya, come out. You're coming down the road with tears in her eyes and I have a big smile going on the thing. And Kaya coming out with tears, boy, I had to run.
Wow.
And Kaya chasing me, Kaya running, you know, but she chasing me. Boy, I get blows. Never, ever make that joke with me again.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not funny.
Yeah.
Okay, you can smile now if you want, but I get one kind of talking to like it's my mother.
Yeah.
And that is why no matter how bad it got,
Mhm.
that was never an option. That was never an option. Giving up on my gift, and my gift is my life.
Yeah.
My present, I couldn't be the one to take away my present because my friends have already told me, Jordan, we love you,
Yeah.
and you are important, and you cannot go on your own free will. Let God take you, not you.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, sometimes you just have to be willing to be that person for people. And that's why, like I said earlier,
Yeah, man.
when I got the opportunity to be somebody who served him, I served him with the utmost because I saw him as someone that just needed a little support, a little more support, a little more compassion
Yeah.
because, you know, he just did. I cannot explain how I knew, I just did. And one more thing, because I'm getting some messages on my phone. So a friend of mine said, John, you're a good public speaker. I said, no, I almost failed that class. But you know what the teacher did for me? He gave me a 70%. He let me pass. And he told me, you have potential, but you have to get over your hurdles. So every time somebody speaks, say, John, you're a great public speaker. There's always remember my queer public speaking teacher who, you know, always used to give me positive advice and basically pass me on effort. Because I used to do all my work, I used to participate in class. Like, I really didn't deserve to pass the class. Like, I should have failed the class. And he told me that, he told me, John, you should be failing. But because of your effort and the way you really putting in the effort, I can see you trying, I'm going to pass you. But I want you to promise me you have to continue working.
Okay. But I'm sure I'll be proud right now, man. And so, our last forwarding words here as we, you know, put an end to this not an end to it, but as we come to a closure of this program here, I just like to give thanks to both of you guys here for opening this conversation and the levels of insight that you gave both into the personal life and your understanding of life in itself. I must say thank you to the both of you. Dominica's Broadcasting Station for the platform, and of course the program which is to come on next for their time. You guys, any forwarding statements as we end this program real quick here?
Well, just to close, live, love, and smile.
All right.
Always respond with a smile and some love.
Yes, right. And for me, just stay positive, man. Just stay positive and do whatever it is that makes you happy, and never feel like it's too much to reach out to somebody to talk to. You know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, in that case, my forwarding words would be: stay awesome, stay amazing, stay conscious, stay tuned. Tell a friend. Consciousness is on here, and don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on life. I know that the Creator is there with you, so go within and stay blessed, stay positive. Here, it's been another wonderful conversation here on Dominica's Broadcasting Station, Streams of Consciousness. Do have yourself a wonderful evening.
Yes, bro. Yeah, man. Great show.
Yeah, man. It was great, bro.
Yeah, boy. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes you just need to smile a little more,
Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. Hey, but we need to exchange contact info. I'll ask Hassan if you can give Hassan your number for me. Let's exchange contact.
All you have to do is say, "Oh no," so I give him permission. He just have to send it for you. That's not even supposed to be something you think.
So WhatsApp, yeah. So send me. And Hassan, you know WhatsApp to them?
Yes, sir.
All right, send me the WhatsApp.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, man. We go collaborate for sure.
Yes,
When you come there, we go do a thing.
Oh, yes, brother. Take it easy.
Yes, bro. You too.
Bless
it was a pleasure meeting you. I appreciate it.
A pleasure, brother. And I'll meet you in person soon. Yeah.
Yeah, man. For sure.
All right. Bless. Yes, I Professor.
Yes, I Creature.
Yeah.
Information that will change your lives and the humor to brighten your days. So here at DBS Radio, we deliver. We deliver timely news, information to live by, and the everyday interaction that we all so need. These are the things that make DBS Radio the better sounding radio in Dominica. Keep on listening.